Who's the mastermind that took Michigan from only 3 conference wins and 8 wins overall to already having 20 wins on the season and sitting atop the Big Ten? His name is Dusty May, and if the season ended today, I think he's the coach of the year. We all know Michigan's a talented team, but they were dropping some games they shouldn't have in the early and mid-season of this year. After the Minnesota loss, you were kind of stuck questioning whether Michigan was going to be a talented team that never really amounted to what they should have. And then the Purdue game added some insult to injury where Purdue really out-schemed them and exposed Michigan's weaknesses. So here Michigan was at a crossroads with all eyes looking in one direction. So what were Michigan's problems and how was Dusty May able to make in-season adjustments to correct those problems? Their very first problem was they didn't do well handling pressure and getting into their half-court offense. They just picked up full court against Trey Donaldson and really didn't let him change directions, and it just delayed things for Michigan and caused frustration on that side of the ball. Here's what Dusty had to say after the game.
The scout got out that if you let these guys move the ball and be comfortable, they can pick you apart.
So of course in Michigan's ensuing games against Oregon and Rutgers, they both decided to pick up full court to start the game. So Dusty, realizing that Trey had some ball security issues, brought a lot more relief into the backcourt. I especially like this possession right here because you can see that Trey's getting help from his teammates. They're able to get into the half-court offense, and it ends in a dunk for Golden. The other problem that needed some major adjustments was Michigan's turnovers. Now, he found some ways to correct the forced ones, but there were also a lot of unforced turnovers, so Dusty's approach was to simplify.
We literally put 100% of our focus on passing, catching, getting open.
Michigan was leading all Power 5 teams besides Colorado in turnovers following the Purdue game. Since then, you can really see the numbers trending down in their latest few games. Now, if you remember my video entitled Boilermaker Beatdown, you'll remember how frustrated I was with how Michigan dealt with screens. You can see Foster coming over the top here, Gale slowly trailing, and really Wolf and Golden being way too far back to really affect Fletcher's shot curling around the screen. So of course Fletcher gets a good look at a 3, but between that game and the next time Michigan played Purdue, you can see they started handling this way differently. Gale's already over top of Fletcher just in prediction of that screen potentially coming. Now on this play, the screen doesn't come, but because Gale's in a good spot for denial, he causes a turnover. And in a similar situation, Burnett's prepared for the screen, gets over the top, and is able to get back in front of Fletcher, which is a stark contrast to what happened in their first meeting. So not only has Dusty made clever adjustments offensively and defensively, he also has made really good rotational adjustments. For example, Kaysen steps up here in a huge moment for Michigan, and he gives Trey a nice break in the second half, and sure enough, Trey comes back in with fresh legs and hits a huge 3. And just to add some icing on the cake, Dusty's been able to teach his team 2-3 zone throughout the year, and it certainly came in handy against Purdue, and I think it'll come in handy in their upcoming games against Michigan State. And lastly, shout out to Gale Jr., who transfers into a rival school and ignores the boos on his first touch and gets a bucket.